Hello, BookTube. Well, I have another book haul, even though I hauled 100 books yesterday. But I don't have, as you can tell, David Murphy. We went out and we did a bunch of errands. Those of you maybe watching this video and don't know, this David Murphy is my house guest this week. And we went out and did a whole bunch of things today. Drove around, did errands, went to a big box store so I could look at all the stuff. Good Lord. I swear, the allure of all you car drivers. I don't know how to drive. I don't have a driver's license, so I don't get to these places. You can't get to these places without a car. But if you have a car, you can get to whole plazas full of these places, and they have a wonder. I don't know about you. I don't know what your driving schedule is like, but I'd be there every week. But we did all of that, and we also went to a thrift shop that had a large selection of books. And the reason that David's not in the video is because he didn't get anything. Just the tumblers just weren't in place. His heart wasn't in it. But I got a lot. So I wanted to show you what I got. And we can start with this. I got the Penguin Classic of Jude the Obscure. Oh, this lovely cover there. Not a huge Hardy fan, but I noticed when I was looking at the shelves that there were quite a few Penguin Classics. So I thought I would liberate them from this one thrift store in the middle of nowhere in suburban Massachusetts, and maybe give it another try. I have a soft spot for penguins, so there are quite a few of them in here. This next one is a penguin. Oh, right, this is the selected poems of Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and I saw this and I thought, well, okay, but don't you have that? But I do. But the edition of the Penguin Classics that I have has a black and white photo of Longfellow on the cover, whereas this is Grant Wood. That's Paul Revere's Ride. So I would rather have that. There's a pure cover buy, in other words. Plus, this is endearingly crappy shape. It's all warped by water and whatnot. I like that. I fantasize. I know that could easily just be neglect in somebody's basement, but I fantasize that it meant that this was well loved. And I don't know that I have still the Penguin Classic with Longfellow's face on it, so it was just as well. Let's do all the Penguin Classics first. Where are they all? There's one. The Guide by R.K. Narayan. I have some of him, but I don't actually know off the top of my head. He's great. He's fantastic. And I don't know off the top of my head how much of his work Penguin reprinted, ever. Maybe they did it all. Maybe they had an edit. He is absolutely wonderful. His Tales of Malgudi are wonderful. And I have a UK-only Penguin omnibus volume with 3 of his little novels. The Guide might be in that volume. I don't know. I wasn't about to risk it, so I grabbed it. I grabbed this thing as well. This thing has seen better days. I will renovate it as much as possible, and it will just be a beater copy. This is War and Peace. Look at that. This has got stickers all over it. That's going to need to be colored in. All this is going to need to be reinforced and taped over. This is the Rosemary Edmonds translation, which is my favorite translation of War and Peace. And it's this great, big, battered thing. I was careful with the Penguin Classics because a couple of them that I saw had obnoxious highlighting in them. I want them, but I don't want them that bad. And then Tortilla Flat by John Steinbeck, another great cover. Another thin Steinbeck novel. I found The Winter of Our Discontent just yesterday. Here I find it Penguin Classic. I don't have a print version of the Penguin Classic Deluxe Edition of 6 short novels by Steinbeck. I don't have a copy of that. I prefer the Black Sky and Penguins anyway to that. And and a Willa Cather volume that I've never seen in Penguin Classic. This was a bit of a find. Coming Aphrodite and Other Stories, with that cover on a Willa Cather book. So this is Willa Cather short stories. Did not know this volume existed. So that one wasn't me just appeasing Kismet. That was actually genuine. Okay, I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, then we can do another theme here. I found some Signet Regency romances, which are my favorite kind of romance novels. I have a lot of them, and I don't. When it comes to Regencies, I'm pretty good at remembering what books I have, even when there are parts of a large collection. But for some reason, these old Regencies don't really register with me like that. I know a couple of them, But again, these things were cheap. I was right there, and I wasn't going to risk that maybe I have a double. I think some of these I don't have. The first one is Edith Layton. This is The Abandoned Bride. This is what I mean. These old Signet Regencies, I just love them with the cover artwork. And some of these are in terrible shape, but I'll do what I can with them. Then we have Sandra Heath, A Perfect Likeness. I'm pretty sure I have this one. Sandra Heath is so good. She's one of the really good. There was a stable of regular writers for these things, and she's one of the best of them. Then Elizabeth Fairchild. This is The Holly and the Ivy, a Christmas Regency. For romance readers, Regency and Christmas just went together, so you get a lot of them. And I don't think I have this. And finally, The Wicked Groom. There he is. He'll probably end up being an Irishman. And this is by April Kilstrom. I have a bunch of hers. I might have this. I don't know. But see, like, for instance, this one it was a library book. It's got stuff all over it. I'll do what I can to fix it. And then we can finish up with World War II. Now, I'm trying to become a Civil War guy, but for now, we can finish up with World War II. Like, for instance, this one, Anthony Beevor, his book on D-Day, that will take you deep inside. His book will take you deep inside the letters home and the memoirs of the men. He's got a bit of a shtick that he does with his histories where he is constantly grounding the larger narrative in that kind of stuff. I might sound a little evaluative, I guess you could politely say, because if you're going to do that, that you're doing that as a counterpose to the larger narrative of whatever you're doing, right? If you're writing about the Napoleonic Wars and you were writing about the war in chapter 1, and then you tell me about Private so-and-so in chapter 2, you're doing Private so-and-so's personal experience in order to counteract the larger narrative. And the problem with doing that with World War II is that it's the greatest, largest narrative of them all. Why would you want to counteract it? Why would you want to leave it at all? That's the grander problem. And the minor problem, the lesser problem, I guess, I actually don't want you to divert your attention away from the greatest war in the history of the world. But if you're going to do it, then you bump into the second problem, which is pretty obvious. If you are going to spend a lot of time telling me about, Private Himmelfarb or whatever, you had better be able to make him interesting. Now, how many historians can do that? How many writers can do that at all? How many writers can make an ordinary person interesting, even if they're storming the beaches at Normandy? How many? Because you don't just get that moment. You get all the rest of it. All their little private worries and obsessions. And how many writers can make that interesting? Anthony Beevor can, but he often can't. But his book on D-Day I love. I would prefer D-Day books that are a little bit more about D-Day than about, what you had at the Chile line. But anyway, then I found UK trade paperback of Robert Kershaw's book, Garlands, about Operation Barbarossa. Look at this thing. I've never seen this before. And this is on my mind because there is a new book about Operation Barbarossa coming out in... do you remember? It's later, and I think it's late in the summer. And I almost remember its name. But anyway, I'm going to be getting a copy. We'll see it on this channel. And that automatically makes me think about this this entire subject, which has produced a number of tomes. There's one that I have in my little World War II collection that is really, really good. I doubt this book will be as good. I believe there is a definitive history of this, but I'll still take it, absolutely. And then finally, the third World War II book on the find of the day for me is William Manchester, The Arms of Krupp, only in this trade paperback. How many times have I mentioned this book on this channel? And mentioned there's a great big black hardcover. There's a squat phone book sized mass market paperback, but I wanted this. I was working at the bookstore when this trade paperback came out. That would have been in the 90s? Is that right? No, 2003. And I knew right away that this is the if you want a paper version of this book, this is the paper version that you want. And I never see it. The minute I make a determination like that, I doom myself to never seeing the book. But I saw it today, misfiled under fantasy. so I if I hadn't been looking there, it just happened to be where I started. So there you go, a solo book haul, World War II, Penguin Classics, and Regency romances. So pretty good book haul for Steve. A little bit more intense cleaning up with these than normal, but I'm happy to do that. So anyway, there's a book haul to keep the streak going. I don't know if there'll be a book haul tomorrow, but if so, you'll have a ringside seat. Maybe David's Mojo will come back and I'll have another pile of books. But anyway, I'll wrap this up for now, and I will see you then. Thank you, BookTube.